Okay, so here's how it is. Vegas Matt is far and away the most popular gambling professional, I guess is the word he'd like to use, on YouTube currently with over 900,000 subscribers. So I think it's reasonable that if there's going to be any examination at all of these guys on YouTube, he should be the primary objective. And I don't always have complimentary things to say about the gambling pros on YouTube because, frankly, I think they're all carnival barkers. They are there because the casinos want them to be there, and their function is quite simply to reel in more suckers, fresh meat, whatever. The guys individually deny this. They have to me from time to time, anyway, when the subject has come up, and they see themselves as entertainers, as I don't know, distractions from the woes of life, etc. And I think that's utter bollocks. They are making an enormous amount of money out of YouTube for the clicks that they generate. And the last I heard, when Vegas Matt and his son EJ were doing one of their many, many interviews, their self promotion interviews, EJ said that 70% of their revenue is derived from Google, 15% comes from merchandise sales, and 15% comes in various sort of gifts and giveaways, sponsorships, whatever, from the gambling industry. Note, of course, 0% profit from gambling. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody, although maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe a high percentage of the 900,000, nearly a million followers that Vegas Matt now has actually don't realize that he's losing all the time. But anyway, one of the great things about these guys, whatever I might say about them, they do me a favor because they provide me with data that I can analyze and present to you folks out there, all five or six of you who are, who are tuning into me on a regular basis. Well, actually, it's a little bit more than that, but it certainly isn't 900,000. I can pass it on to you, and you can make your own judgments. Matt is a showman. There's no doubt about it. He does what he does very well, even though I admit I hate what he does. But if it has to be done, then he doesn't make a terrible mess of it. And what I'm looking at here is something that I have examined somewhat less minutely in the past, in the recent past, actually. But then I thought, you know what? I think it's worth doing a direct comparison between what he's been doing and what he could be doing if he were using the pattern betting principles. Those principles are probably a lot less entertaining than the sort of madcap gambling that he indulges in. But basically, what I'm about is trying to persuade as many people as I can that if you bet sensibly, you can beat these house games. If you bet the way that Matt and others like him suggest is the way to go, which is, sort of like absolutely no plan whatsoever, no sense or logic whatsoever, no responsibility whatsoever. Well, I digress. Let's just look down through here so that you can, if you're interested, revisit what this presentation or what this particular examination looks like. I added Matt's most recent, which is a $7,500 win on a poker machine. He got a flush on his very first go, so he won 5 units, and his unit was, as he says here, 1,500. So that was pretty good. It's actually out of order here because I had I'm trying to be tidy, you see, and I like to have a half dozen left to right. And I had a couple of spaces there because of my Christmas break. So I thought, okay, I'll just drop it in there. So it's out of order. But that does not matter. I mean, statistically, that's completely irrelevant. So currently, Vegas Matt is about 3,800 ahead. His action is 220,000. So his win is 1.7% of his total action. He's had 29 wins, 31 losses. Losses obviously amounted to less than wins because otherwise he wouldn't have a win over here. But the averages are pretty much the same. His average win is 3,852 and his average loss is 3,481. And you can be damn sure that by the time I've filled in that blank up there and put in another line of 6 down here, that the story will be somewhat different. But anyway, that's how it looks. And now let's have a look at what pattern betting would have done with the same results in the same order. That's important to know. Whoops, I just messed up.
Reminder.
Alexa, shut up. Sorry about that. I'm always forgetting to turn that thing off. So here's the story. This is the ups and downs of Vegas Matt Shorts. Having a very childish sense of humor. It makes me smile every time I think of. Never mind. This is Vegas Matt rising to 16,400 and something, 16,500 ahead, then dropping all the way down to 8,000 down, and then up and down, and then climbing up to 17,300 ahead. And currently he's at 3,800 ahead, 0.67. Pattern betting, where I've set the minimum at 500, the max at 10,000. I've got action which is, you'll see down here, about half of Vegas Matt's, and I've got a total win to date of 8,750, which is 231%. In other words, more than double Matt's. My win with pattern betting is 7.8% of my action. His is 1.7% of his action. I'm looking at a situation now, if we go down to the bottom here, where my minimum was 7,750. It's about the same as his. My max, 12,750. And right now I'm in a slump and will fight on. I don't know what's coming next from Matt. I have no control over that, but I'll just keep updating this from time to time. And you can see that I'm in a downturn right now, which I know will be recovered. There is no doubt whatsoever. So, I mean, you can hold me to that, but that's the way it's going to be. So there's a big difference, obviously, between the two of us. We just saw it there, but let's have another look at it. Vegas Matt's action, 220,000. His result, plus 4,000. So he's 1.7% of his action so far. I'm half his action, more than twice his win, and I'm at 7.8% of my action. So, I mean, take what you want from this. It's entirely up to you. I'm not selling anything. I'm not. Well, I am pushing it because I believe that this is the way that these games can be beaten, and this is the way that the playing field can be leveled. Because currently, what's happening is that all of us in the world today are treating gambling as a legitimate entertainment, and of course, it's not. It's incredibly damaging. The last I read, and it's a thing just published, I think last week here in the UK, 200,000 problem gamblers at minimum. But of course, it's hilarious that they use this expression problem gamblers, because anybody who gambles, we're all problem gamblers, because it is a stupid thing to do, to put down any amount of money against negative odds is a stupid thing to do. Matt demonstrates it all the time. The guys who are ahead, namely Mr. Handpay and Brandon O'Brien, at least in their table games, are miracle workers because they're betting randomly. They have absolutely no plan whatsoever, which is what betting randomly obviously means, and they're ahead. And draw your own conclusions from that. My conclusions are simple enough, and that is a very strong suspicion, which I could not prove because I don't have all the data, but a very strong suspicion that those two guys and others who are in the gambling promotion business, the carnival barking business, shilling business on YouTube, are cherry picking. They're showing us the good times, a few bad times, sort of like shuffled into the pack to make things look kosher, but basically they're cherry picking and suggesting something that's basically not true. It isn't possible to win a long term against any of these games betting randomly. That is a fact. It isn't debatable. It isn't questionable. It is simple mathematics. You cannot bet randomly against random outcomes and win in the long run. Over and out. So there we are. Anyway, that's it for now. I will keep updating this now. I'll wait until I get the next 6 or maybe the next 12, whatever, and give you an update as and when. I hope this is useful to at least 1 or 2 people out there. And my thanks to Vegas Matt for his reckless, nonsensical, completely crazy, irresponsible gambling, because it's given me something to talk about and something to study. So there you have it. Bye-bye.